Hi, welcome to Tech Tricks Tutorial. Today, we're going to show you Midjourney latest updates. It's a step-by-step beginner guide for everyone to follow easily. If you find this tutorial helpful, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Now, let's get right into it. Now today we're going to tackle and explore the different new updates in Midjourney. Now we're not going to tackle all of them, but we're going to tackle some of the most important features that is currently added, such as the new version of 5.1 image system. Now as you can see here, the 5.1 is apparently more opinionated like version 4 and is much easier to use with shorter prompts, meaning that it will generate images by adding more information that you haven't added to your prompt. For example, we ask the version 5.1 to generate a cat. We're only adding the version or the prompt cat, and it will add other things into the photo. For example, it's going to make the cat be on a table or like have other things that isn't on the prompt added to your photo. So that's why it's much easier to use with shorter prompts because it will add more information. There's also an unopinionated mode, which will be like a strict mode wherein it will only add whatever is on your prompt. You will be able to enable this. This is also very similar to the version 5 default, and this is called the 5.1 raw mode. And don't worry, if the version 5.1 will still be available. It will not go away like the other versions, like the version 1, 2, 3, and 4. It will not go away. And later on, we're going to compare the difference between version 5.1 and version 5.0. The other changes also, as you can see here, versus the 5.0 is that it has a higher coherence. It also has more accuracy to text prompts, fewer unwanted borders or text articles, and improved sharpness also to your different photos. Now sometimes for me when I'm creating my photos with version 5, it's a bit blurry or it isn't really detailed, but with 5.1 it will now be more sharper and has more details. Now later on I'm going to teach you how to enable 5.1. As you can see here also, it's going to show you how to enable this. They also enabled the AI moderation for version 5 and newer models. And the other thing we're going to talk about later on in the video is how to use the permutations in generating your different prompts. We're going to demonstrate this later on, and also remember that this will be only available for members that are using it for $10. Also remember that they are now allowing people to use Midjourney once again for free trials, as you can see here, because before they have disabled free trials because of the amount of people using Midjourney, and you were able to only use Midjourney when buying or when you bought a subscription. But now, as you can see here, they are turning the free trials once again, and it will happen through the through the end of the weekend over here. So let's get started. We're going to go to our private server that we have created for Midjourney so that we wouldn't be bothered by the prompts of other people, because to be honest, it's a bit difficult to monitor the prompts that we are creating when there are other people also in the server and generating their own photos. Now you could do what I did, like I created my own server, or you could also private message Midjourney and it will do the same thing. And as you can see here, I have already been using Midjourney a lot. So how do you enable or how do you use the version 5.1 that is recently added in Midjourney? Now the first thing you're going to do to set this up is type in dash or slash settings. By doing this, you will be able to see and adjust your personal settings for your prompts. Remember, this is just for you and you alone. This will be different for other people. It will not apply to your entire server. For example, my server right now, it will not edit everyone's prompt setting. This is personally for my account. So over here, as you can see, we have the Midjourney version 1, Midjourney version 2, 3, and 4, and our 5 over here. Now we have the most latest version, which is the 5.1 over here, and the raw mode over here. And you could enable and disable sections in this section by simply clicking on them, and you will be able to disable them. And we also have the styles over here if you would like high style and like public mode or fast mode over here, depending on you on what you would like to have. And as you can see here also, to be able to enable relax mode, I would need to upgrade my plan, but we're not going to do that. So we're going to stick with the fast mode. So the first thing we're going to check out for today's video is the version 5. We're going to compare them side by side later on. So the first thing we're going to check out is the version 5. So we're going to type in slash and imagine, and we're going to do that, and we're going to think of a very simple prompt, not a very complicated prompt, just a very simple. So we're going to think of a dragon flying with a mage cat on top of the dragon, and just like that, and we're simply going to enter. And using this, as you can see here, it will automatically add this dash prompts over here because we enabled it on our settings, which would allow it to automatically add it in this section. So we're going to wait for it to generate our version of this with this as the prompt. Then we're going to do the same thing for the version 5.1 to see. And as you can see here, it's slowly generating our photo over here. It went with an artistic style, so this will be our basis for the version 5 over here. So as you can see, this is the design of the version 5, and then we could zoom in and make them bigger if you would like. As you can see, I think the best one is the version 2 over here, or the version 3, depending on what I would like. So I'm going to go with version 2 over here. So we're going to upscale version 2 so that we can get a closer look of our design over here. Now this is the design produced by our version 5. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do imagine and type in prompt, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to copy this just like this, copy and paste it over here, and this time we're going to add 0.1 to our prompt over here so that we will be able to tell Midjourney that we are asking it to produce it through the version 5.1. So click on enter, and we're going to compare them one by one. We're going to compare the version 5, the version 5.1, and the version for the 5.1 raw, which is an unopinionated and very similar to version 5 or 4 over here. So we're going to wait for it to generate this so that we will be able to compare the difference between the other two. Now, like what we saw earlier in the updates announcement, the 5.1 is opinionated, the basic version, not the raw version. It means that it might add more things to our original prompt, like add more details. For example, in this photo, it might add more background, it might add more designs like clouds, stuff like that. And it is also more clearer and sharper. And as you can see, there is already a lot of difference. For this one, it went with a cartoony style, and this one, it went with a bit realistic style over here. And like we could make it upscale, and also if you notice, it did not go with the cat on top of the dragon. It added more features like what it said in the announcement earlier. It will add additional things. As you can see, we haven't told it to add some castle, we haven't told it to make a man sitting on our dragon, just like that. It made something different. So that's the difference between a version 1 and version 5.1. It will add more things. So we're going to actually, unfortunately, I think we made a mistake here. It duplicated our prompt here. So we're going to adjust our settings just like that. So we're going to do it again. I'm sorry, guys. So we're going to disable this one, and we're going to reset our settings over here. And now we're going to do it once again. We're going to do our prompt. I think we made a mistake with our first one over here. So we're going to redo that. So we're going to click on enter, and we're going to wait for the generated one for the version 5.1 this time. And then after this, we're going to go with the raw mode. And after that, we're going to do it once again to ensure that we are using the same seed. So while waiting, we're going to type in another prompt, imagine, and do that. And this time, we're going to go with the raw mode. So we're going to go to the settings once again, actually. Settings, click on enter, and we're going to select our raw mode this time. Go and enable raw mode just like that. And now, as you can see, this will automatically be added to our prompt. So we're going to type in our prompt over here. Click on imagine, prompt, just like that. And we're going to remove this other things over here. And as you can see here also, we have just finished generating our version for 5.1. And as you can see, it added more things like I said earlier. The version for the last picture over here doesn't include any castle, but it did add some castles over here. It is also more detailed and like more design and more like features to the photo, and that's a big difference between the 5.1 and the version 5 over here. Although this one did take a cartoonish version. So we're going to do that later. And we're going to add some seeds to make sure that they are doing the same thing. So we're going to go and enter this one to see the 5.1 raw version. And while waiting, we're going to do and demonstrate this time the permutation. Now, how the permutation work is that it will allow you to type in a single prompt for multiple prompts that you would usually require 2 prompts. So for example, we're going to draw a dragon. Then we're going to type in a bracket, red and blue dragon. And this is how permutation would work. So it will generate 2 different prompts in one go. So we're going to enter this while waiting. And as you can see here, are you sure you want to imagine 2 prompts from the table? Yes. Basically, it will just allow us to type in 2 different prompts in one go. So as you can see here also, this is the raw version that we have. This is more similar to our version 5, which is, I guess, the version 5 and the version 5.1 is unopinionated, so it will stick to the prompt that you gave it. That's why it has similarities over here. So I really like actually the third one over here. We can open the third one, and actually here also you can see where we use the permutation. It will generate these styles over here, the one for the blue and the one for the red. That is what permutation would be used for. Basically typing in 2 different prompts or 3 different prompts, no matter how much prompt you won't like, and it will generate it in one single go. If you would like to generate a lot, this will save you a lot of time if you use the permutation method. And as you can see here, this is our design for our 5.1 that is raw. So we're going to try and doing this one last time. So we're going to do imagine. And what we're going to do is we're going to type in a dragon. We're going to type in a cat dragon this time. Then we're going to make use of the permutation. So the first one will be for the dash v5. And the seed would be dash seed. We're going to type a random seed over here. Then we're going to use the colon to separate them. Then for the other one, we're going to do dash v5.1. And we're going to do the same seed 1 2 3 2 4 4, and then another one for the raw version. The raw version requires the prompt style raw dash style raw, and then we're going to add dash seed 1 2 3 2 4 4 4 and close the permutation and click on enter. And as you can see here, we're going to simply type in yes, and it will generate 3 different output immediately. As you can see here, we made one invalid parameter. The version 5 is not compatible with style. So we made a mistake with what we typed in with one of our prompts over here, but the other 2 is processing. So we're simply going to wait, and we're not going to bother with the other one because it made a mistake. So we're simply going to go with this one, but we're still going to try this in a bit. And as you can see here, this is the version 5.1. I think we forgot to remove the style raw that is automatically added to our design, so we're just going to proceed anyway. And as you can see, this is the design for one of our prompts, and I don't think the other one are going to be processed. But that's it, guys. I think you get the gist of how to use and what's the difference between the 5.1, the version 5, and the version 5.1 that is raw. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.